It is November 9th, 2024. Yesterday, after I did that last video, I went to work. There was men outside. They said, "What are these people doing?" We all know they taped her whole family defending her. And one of her sons even said that nobody could ever say anything bad about her several times. Or John defended me on Thanksgiving the 18th. When I asked him what was going on, that he said his ex-wife Melissa would have the kids to make up something because he said I was going to go through a divorce and move out. That she'd have the kids to make up something, and the church people too. But trust me, Mom, nobody could ever say anything bad about you. I said you shouldn't have said anything until it happened. He said, well, I did. But because no one can say anything bad about you, don't worry about it. It's just going to be made up because I told him you're going to go through a divorce and move out. Okay? That's it. It's just going to be made up. And nobody can say anything bad about you. So don't worry about it. Okay? Then those guys said, well, I heard it's that agent stealing from our case for some girl. They said it hurt her last year. This whole thing is Will stealing. I was up in Akron. I started working in this one area, and investigators were knocking on doors telling people, have you ever listened to Karen before? And this one guy said, well, yeah. He said, she ever mentioned Agent John and said his last name? And he said, yeah, several times in the beginning of the case. We thought it was him doing this. We tried to talk to the FBI and they refused to talk to us. Don't say a word to her. We already verified everything was Photoshopped before. Then later on during the summer, they were outside and they told people it's that idiot stealing our money. Okay? Last year in October, in Canton, an investigator said Will's got caught stealing. They either call him Agent John or Agent Will. Well, see, that's weird. How did that... Now, it really was where two kids walked by my apartment. We didn't think about what she said, that it was two pimps and a prostitute walked in the FBI office with her ex-husband. It was. It actually was. We found out it was drug dealers doing all this. It's like a bad joke. This whole thing. A sick, demonic bad joke. You call the FBI. People, 4 times you've almost been killed. 2 documented by the police. Got witnesses of the other. They're telling, an occult's telling 3 people in the mall that it's been their church trying to have you killed. You have them now. Okay? Call the hotline. Next day, they drug you up so bad, you can't even hardly wake up. Phone's ringing, it's an agent calling back from the hotline. They got the agent's number when you listen to the voicemail, because they're cyber stalking you. Keep you drugged up so they can get to it. In walks to the FBI office an occult leader, my husband at the time, 2 pimps and a prostitute. Confesses to a federal cop that the 2 pimps and the prostitute was hired by the cult leader and my husband. And the ones that hired him, man, that they hired on his own. How did that pimp know that agent wouldn't arrest him? That they had been cyber stalking me on their own through button cameras. They had fake sodium pentothal reports, date rape, amnesia, drug confessions. He wouldn't arrest them. And they had been drug beaten, raping a woman, and it was a pimp. A hired pimp. Had been selling kiddie porn of little kids going potty. That agent wouldn't arrest him. Kiddie porn of little kids going potty. They had voyeurism tapes of my whole family using the bathroom, me showering, me with Dave. A sextortion act of photoshopping and washing, and drug confessions. And that FBI agent wouldn't arrest them for racketeering, sextortion, human trafficking, rape, kiddie porn. How did they know that FBI agent wouldn't arrest him for those evil crimes and their federal crimes to cover up attempted murder? That he would go along with any of it. How'd they know that? And an occult leader saying he ordered it because he called me a faker 15 years ago? They've been planning this whole thing out? Two pimps and a prostitute walks into an FBI agent's office with an occult leader and my ex-husband with a drug scam. How did they know he wouldn't arrest them? I went out with my friend Matt on January 13th, 2023. Okay? My phone's bugged by the police. They taped it. There's an officer walked up when I got done talking to him. I recorded that, and none of this was funny. What was sad? He said, I work in a factory. I race horses professionally. On the racetrack, there's drug dealers. I know somebody who knows somebody who deals drugs. I went to them. They said the Ohio drug dealers said they all know, you didn't know, that agent was in debt to that drug dealer. That's why all this happened. And they were so angry that that agent let all this happen here. And they were threatening him. I'm like, whoa, he needs to go to jail for this? I don't believe in violence. He said, it's not me, it's them. I'm just repeating what they said. And I said again, I don't believe in violence. He needs to go to jail for this. He said, it's not me, it's them. I was just repeating what they said. But they're angry over this. Now, think about this. The drug cartel showed up and said that agent had trouble with prostitutes. And a prostitute is telling everybody he stole for her. Now, think about what Michelle's mother said. We called Will, explained Michelle, and he set her up. Worked in front of the cops. And Michelle's going around her Lauren that Will is stealing for them. Okay, December 14th, 23, 4:45 p.m. They said it was Agent John walked out of McDonald's. I have all these undercover vehicles swarming me. He walks out screaming, Karen Will's here today. They all slam on the brakes. I told Dave I set her up and I stole her money. They said that was John. Agent John. I've never met him. I had to go to my next shift. I went and worked. Went home, got a shower. I was supposed to work that night. Went out to Hartville. They were out there in that neighborhood. We told that guy that none of this is funny. We know she don't know who he is. And we taped him admitting he was in it with Dave and stole her money and that none of this is funny. By Sunday, a lot of harassers didn't show up. Some ladies were at Walmart and Alliance on a Sunday night. Said Officer Mark told everybody to leave her alone. He taped that agent over her case saying he was in it with Dave and stole her money. See, yesterday I was in Circle Restaurant. Some idiot got on the phone, part of the cartel was in there. This older guy. John said that Agent John says she's not getting no money, that's all there is to it. So I start going over everything with my friend. Some guy was behind me, he's like, said Agent stealing that money for that girl this whole day. You know. Went to leave him, guys are mumbling, trust me, nobody thought it was funny. Agent John told on you before he talked to you. And nobody thought it was funny how he talked to you. Well, you gotta think. I called the FBI hotline. I have that church nailed for attempted murder and conspiracy to commit murder. Have them nailed. Three witnesses on the wall saying it's them. Two Perry police reports and then witnesses of the other two. And even a witness of them impersonating me. I had them nailed. I called the hotline. They break in and drug me up that I can't even hardly wake up. Phone's ringing, let it go to voicemail. Had to stagger to the bathroom, bedroom, out to the refrigerator, holding on to the wall. What's wrong with me again? Get back in bed, listen to the voicemail. This is Agent da-da-da, call me back. I can't. And I fall back to sleep. And they got it because they're cyber stalking me. They have his phone number. Now, how did that pimp know when he walked into an FBI agent's office, he wouldn't arrest him for drug beating or raping a woman for any reason? And it's a pimp. A drug dealer. Running a drug scam on somebody. In walks. Well, they got me drugged up, beaten, raped in bed. Can't hardly wake up. Walks into an FBI agent's office, confesses it's them. He didn't arrest him on the spot. My ex-husband, an occult leader, confessing he hired that drug dealer to drug beat and rape me on his own. And the occult leader said I ordered it because I called her a faker 15 years ago when it was on medication. Think about that. A baby's maybe lie on somebody saying he ordered it 15 years ago. My ex-husband saying he hired a drug dealer on his own. A pimp. And another pimp impersonating a doctor selling people's information. That's absurd. This whole thing is absurd. and that they got fake sodium pentothal reports. They've been drugging me and telling me to say stuff. They've been having me beat and raped under drugs. They have photoshopped of a shower scene in the other room. They have been selling kiddie porn to little kids going potty. And all of us on porn sites and drug confessions. And they're stocking tapes by a pimp. Running a drug scam on somebody, and he didn't arrest him for being stupid. Racketeering is drugs, rape, threats, and attempted extortion under. Sextortion is taking naked pictures of someone, photoshopped or not, and try to extort money of them. You got kiddie porn of little kids going potty. Voyeurism, taking naked pictures of people. Sex trafficking videos of people. Attempted murder, kidnapping, drugs, rape, human trafficking. And he didn't arrest him for confessing and then attempted murder? And conspiracy to commit murder? Assault with a deadly weapon? No. So how did they know that agent would go along with any of this? Michelle's mother said we called Will and explained Michelle, and he set her up. That they were friends. My brother-in-law, Craig Davis, worked for the government. My sister Lori told me that they told him that he was not to be seen with or around illegal immigrants. He was not allowed to be seen or over anyone's house that was not a legal citizen and no criminal record. He was not to be known and associated with any criminals outside a case. Why? Your integrity cannot be questioned. And then people, you don't have to worry about people drugging them and getting them to say something or giving out government information. I told a retired CIA agent about him. I heard her outside chewing out to use their phone. The agency would never approve of him dating any of them, no matter what. I was in Kent last year. An investigator walked up. Will got caught stealing in front of people. Or got caught stealing. I know he did. Police need to arrest him. They got him. That agent went around telling all the church people he knew was being drug beat, raped, and didn't care. Because the strange sly of calling me a faker. He was aiding and abetting human trafficking, rape, racketeering, see, they kept me drugged up for 3 days. Third day I made myself get up sitting on the front porch holding my head. What's wrong with me? I feel drunk and I don't drink. It's a sign of a date rape drug wearing off. Amnesia drugs, they make you sick. Got enough air in my face to call one of my witnesses. I gave the hotline. Okay. She agreed to witness for me. I went out and got a card where the agent left his voicemail. I put his number in that card and dropped it off at the mall. Her manager put it in her locker. Went on to Apostolic Church of Barberton. Paul Pamer got on in Dave's face. My God, I had an FBI agent in my office. I walk off. He's screaming, "How dare you bring the FBI up here with threats on her life?" Women walk up. He knows she's being drugged, beaten, raped. I'm covered in bruises. throwing up, heart racing, migraine headaches, and a severe personal infection all summer long. Lost 18 pounds. My heart sinking in my stomach, where I thought the dirty well water was killing me. He knew they were raping me and drugging me. Like I said, that agent knew they were framing him. I go in and I sit down. They follow me and sit down behind me. He knows she's being drugged, beaten, raped, and said he didn't care. If she was going to be faking she was sick and faking she got well while that family was grieving, he didn't care what they did to her. And if she was going to be mean to their women, he was going to turn her back over to them. Can you imagine an agent saying that? Dave comes in, let's go. We get out in the truck. He screams at me for calling the FBI on it. He starts punching me in the truck. Goes for a loaded gun. I put my hand on the console. He goes back to punching me. I almost jumped out on the highway. I ran from him when I got home. I call him the next morning, rivers of tears, scared out of my mind. Everybody knows I called the FBI. I tell him somebody told me. You liar. I tell him about the guy that threatened to knife me at Giant Eagle. You liar. I said, well, he tried to kidnap me before. And before I can say Terry Coberly's seen him. He said, oh, come on now. I met with that family in my office. And all those church people. And I know they're trying to kill you. Because the strangest lie. Faking you were sick. I know they were trying to kill you because you were faking you were sick and faking you got well while that family was grieving. I said, look, I really was sick before. You liar. Was there a camera above that bench? I don't know. When you heard that voice of that guy threatening to knife you, I don't know. He said, you say you're lying to arrest you. I'm like, what? And he's going, I'll arrest you, I'll put you in jail, you hear me? You say it, arrest him. It's like, fine, whatever. Found out the guy's a serial killer. He let him go. And he goes, on a recorded live. Okay? And then he says, I want you to say you're faking you were sick before. I said, medication error almost killed me. My whole body swelled up. My knees are popping out place, going to orthopedic doctors. Turkey-based syringes getting pulled out from underneath my knees, gave me canes and braces for the swelling, because I could hardly walk because I was so numb. Thyroid, adrenal gland shut down, had many heart attacks, brain swelling, seizures. To say you weren't sick is absurd. I almost died of medical malpractice. I said I really was sick before. You liar. I met with that family in my office and all those church people. He knew they were conspiracy and an attempt of murder. And he didn't arrest them. He said, I know they're trying to kill you because you were faking you were sick and faking you got well and that family was grieving. Strangest lie to cover up Tim and Katie. Okay? A baby lie had nothing to do with them 6 months later. And them using their family's tragedy to kill people? Gotta be ashamed. It's sick. Some guy said I find them disgusting. They are. Now think about this. The minister made up a baby lie 6 months later after a traffic accident I had nothing to do with in 03. And it took me 9 months to get well after all that. In the middle of it, her father does a stop at a stop sign, runs through it into a semi and kills him and his, their son. Now it's either an arrogant stunt or where he was defying Strange openly about not correcting his wife for swimming in a public pool. Strange probably had him killed because he ordered all this in 03, I found out. When he thought I was following Tim and Katie and it was Linda. Or I was following him again. I got caught. I think they thought it was you. I'm sorry, be careful. And he ordered all this in '03. That they were to try to kill me. And if that didn't work, they were to have me destroyed. Nobody was to say a word or do anything until Dave said he wanted a divorce. That what took him 15 years. It took 15 years for Dave to say it. They had been, that occult planned it out for 15 years. Like they said, that agent needs to get his facts straight. Okay? I said I really was sick before. Now I've met with that family in my office and all those church people. I know they're trying to kill you. Conspiracy to commit murder and attempted murder. He didn't arrest him. He's a cop. Because you were faking you were sick and thinking you got well with that family was screaming. I really was sick before. He's like, you liar, you need to realize what you've done, and I don't blame him for trying to kill you. That he's aiding and abetting murder. And an occult doing it to a victim. On a recorded line, they have him. And witnesses of police to him telling on me. And saying that kind of crap. I said I really was sick. He said, you say it or I'll leave you there. But they'll kill me, so. They'll try to kill me, so. You say it or I'll leave you here. There, you hear me? Da, 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 da. It's like, fine, just don't let them kill me. Ha, 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 ha. Why would the FBI help a person like you? Well, it's a sworn duty. I said, well, they've tried to kill me, so. They're gonna kill me, so. Premeditated murder, not good enough. The other agent yells out the pimp's name. The drug dealer. Dave hired on his own to run the drugs again. We could always use Pete's tape or word with herself. The shower scene in the other room. They laughed at FBI agent John. He'd actually fall for that. June 7th, 23, drug confessions and photoshopping and washing. Made a public fool out of him. I said, what are you talking about? Because it's Photoshop. By a man I've never met yet. And he's still at large. I said, what are you talking about? Only Pete I know is my brother in Medina. He said, we could use Pete's tape or something else, I forget. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I've never talked to this man. I don't even know who he's talking about. I went, what are you talking about? It's one of my black and blue marks where I come in and take a drink out of a Diet Coke. The room would go dizzy and black, wake up with bruises, throwing up, heart racing, severely infected. He's talking about my rapist. In a drug confession he was writing. I don't know what he's talking about. Waking up with injection marks, same thing. Or they're drugging the hell out of me. Keeping me so stoned up there. I didn't know what was going on. Like the investigator said when the case first started, we found out Karen's ex-husband was keeping her so drugged up they were drug beating raping her, and she wasn't realizing what was happening. Went to Ultimate Family Physicians all summer long of 2018, documented by the doctor for migraine headaches, throwing up, dizzy, almost passing out, giant bruising, muscle pain, and a severe personal infection. And nobody was putting it together of a rapist. And I'm blaming the dirty well water I'm washing in. Okay? I said, what are you talking about? Stop, she don't know. I'm laughing. Ha. Like a drunken cat on a bar stool. He said, I bet you're gonna say you don't know about this doctor selling information. For one thing, HIPAA violations. No doctor can talk about you without your consent. It's 1 to 5 years and $250,000 fine. It was a pimp impersonating a doctor. I had some other lady use my insurance for 15 years. We reported insurance fraud. Found out some lady with 2 little girls arguing with a hospital about a bill. The lady said she even talked to her. It's supposed to have been me, and she has 2 little girls. She's like, look, I have 3 stinky boys. I told you some other lady is using my insurance. And we got stuck with a lot of copays. It was probably a side girlfriend of days, realizing how much he was cheating. Okay? I didn't know back then. He likes to use his paid time off to go cheat. I said, what are you talking? And I thought maybe it was one of her bills. No, it's just a scam. I said, what are you talking about? Stop, Jay, I don't know. Give me a real reason. I tell him about my brother-in-law, Craig. He said, first of all, have you talked to any law enforcement about threats on your life? I said, the only 2 officers I've ever talked to was August 8th of 18. I had a light in the security system at midnight. They came out. I called them silly or stupid. They told me it looked like an alien orb or an angry spirit. You're kidding. I said, no. I thought they were dehydrated, so I offered them water. He started laughing. I said, they told me to buy a dog and let a dog handle it. They don't want bothered out here. I said, matter of fact, I've never even had my neighbors in my home. I've only had family and repair guys. Is that what's going on? Offers to take me somewhere and leave me with no money. I have no money to start. He said, if you agree to get information on Dave and the churches, I can open an informant program. I said, well, I can do that. And I thought nobody else will get hurt. They're already confessing in the mall. The 3 people will last a few weeks and I'll be set for life. Comes with $5,000 a month. Okay? He said, I opened an account today. He said, you'll have a life of peace as an informant. Nothing legally stated dated against you again, and only for you, and only for you. Would we ever do this for? We'll always put it back as if it never happened. You can't be legally charged for anything again for working this case. You'll have that money to live on when you move out. Admit to no wrongdoing. I'll take care of everything in the end. But if you try to tell someone unless you're crazy and no one will help you. I told my friend from the Starr County prosecutor's office, laughed or I cried, had tears. He said, for one thing, the police know they can't go along with any of that. The only thing legal he did was list you an informant with money and immunity. No sitting judge would sign his own arrest warrant of taking somebody's freedom of speech away outside a jury trial. He's only a higher police officer. He doesn't have the authority to ask anybody to stay quiet. He's only bullying you, and the police know that. So they get away with this. And he can't bully you into false statements either. And the police know that. You get the money for working the case and only for working the case. And Karen, you don't realize you're in one of the many witness protection programs. Informants are different. You say yourself you feed them information. The government owes you the rest of your life for risking your life to get them information. And you can never get out of a witness protection program. These people actually tried to kill you. They could wait and try to kill you again. And you get the money for risking your life and working the case and only for working the case. And he cannot withhold it. He can't misdirect it. And he's only a police officer, a higher one, but only a police officer. You don't have the authority to ask anyone to stay quiet. Takes a judge, First Amendment freedom of speech, in a jury trial. He's only bullying you. Talked to a criminal attorney. He said the same thing, and police out of this area. They want to know why our police didn't arrest him. They have him for theft, embezzlement, and aiding and abetting all these crimes. They have him nailed. He's just not. It's right on Google. The police are not submittable to the FBI. They are all police officers. They can arrest each other. So, we're October 4th, 23 in Maslin. Michelle and Lauren pull up next to me. Will promised he was stealing for us. He promised us the money. October 6th, 23, Walmart 62, early in the morning, food aisle. They said that girl that's running around saying that agent's stealing for her. We found out that it was one of the guys from the case's girlfriend. He's been stealing all kinds of money for her. That's what's going on. That's why no one will say a word. December 2nd, 22, when the officers assigned to me, I had a day have out. They came in and got lunch before we were getting lunch. The guy said, "Is that the one that church tried to have killed?" He said, "Yes." I heard she didn't get any money out of this. He said, "No, it's the one guy from the case, stealing every dime since the first day." Well, after October 6th, 23, that Sunday, I was in Coles and Baldwin. We go to check out. A lady walks in. I heard Will's been stealing some money, all kinds of money from some girl. He's supposed to be driving around making sure she's safe. Instead, he's having people yell crazy crap at him. Well, he's stealing it for some girl. I want him to find out who she is. I told you, I didn't even know who Michelle was until January or February of 19. Okay? I was at Faith Family Church. A young blonde girl comes and sits down. They're calling her Michelle. And she's telling everybody she's dating Dave. And she shows up in Louisville with a big truck, guys, of human traffickers. Announces to Louisville in Giant Eagle parking lot that they were stealing for them in 19. She's told everyone he's stealing for her and that Lauren. So we're Matt's friend that knows a drug dealer, and the drug dealer said that that agent was in debt to that drug dealer, Pete. That's why all this happened. How did that drug dealer know when he went into an FBI office that that agent would arrest him for drug beating, raping anybody? Taking a hit job to harm somebody. How do you know you wouldn't arrest him? Drug confessions, photoshopping and washing and stocking tapes by a drug dealer in a drug scam? Selling kiddie porn and kids going potty? Having some woman drugged for fake confessions and photoshopping and washing? Fake sodium pentothal reports? Harming people in their home. A drug dealer confessed. A racketeering scheme. Racketeering is drugs, rape, threats, attempted extortion. Sextortion is taking naked pictures of people, photoshopped or not, try to extort money. So those are federal crimes. Attempted murder, conspiracy to commit murder, federal crimes. Kiddie porn. Obtaining and dispensing it. Federal crimes. So how did he know that agent wouldn't arrest him and would go along with it? Think of Michelle as a mother. We called Will and explained Michelle, and he set her up. See the whole absurdity. He told on me. So all the church people confessed he did. Laughed at me that he was going along with it. Bullies me. Makes fun of me for rapists running a scam on me. Knew everything. Bullies me. Then lists me informant. And then threatens me. Like the prosecutor's office said, he was bullying you. So they get away with this. He did it to steal. See, that's where the Hartville police told people not to say anything to me. That agent told them that he was only acting that way to get the drug dealers. But they got all those drug dealers, and he still didn't pay me. They think he did it to steal in front of them, and he tricked them. Yeah. See, that's where Sheriff David Mike DeWine's because I want to know if our police were slow. We all know about those date rape amnesia drugs. They're sleepwalking. They're mind-controlling drugs. And anything could be photoshopped from words out of sentences, other sentences, taped over. Put somebody else's head on somebody else's body. Change your hair color, eye color, clothing. Everything's photoshoppable. Nothing is trustworthy. Nobody could be in your home. They were to be arrested. And he even said that agent don't have enough authority to ask anybody to stay quiet, and he cannot withhold your money. If they go back through the cases, I bet he stole other people's money. He's too arrogant. Talk to Sheriff Joe in Florida. He's swirling like crazy over this. What's wrong with your local police? Why haven't they arrested that agent? Think about it. Oh, yesterday. The scam of Melissa. Oh my God. Okay. They all know I called the FBI. All these men and women show up and are all around all of us. Where do you think they came from? They were police. The police caught Melissa telling the kids to lie. In an illegally bugged house on Thanksgiving of 18. They got caught stating they wanted the house for Auntie Shell and Peppo. And I looked down, they're saying crazy crap. Looked around the wall, and they're saying crazy crap, laughing, go like this. Go out and sit by Dixie and the baby. Flora comes up, one of my granddaughters. They're saying mean things in the basement. Go up to John, what's going on? He's like, I don't know, Mom. I told Melissa, his ex-wife, you're going to go through the divorce, you're going to move out, you have the kids to make up something. But trust me, nobody could say anything bad about you. It's just being made up. He said, and the church, he should probably have the church people make up something too. But don't worry about it. Nobody could ever say anything bad about you. I said, well, you shouldn't have said anything about me moving out or going through a divorce until it happened. He's like, well, I did. And since nobody can say anything bad about you, don't worry about it. Well, in the basement, they got caught dating. They made everything up. They were games to pretend to Flora, and they're laughing and giggling in the basement. October 23rd, 2019. Flora ratted them out to a bunch of adults. Of course it never happened. Of course it wasn't true. We made it up. They were games to pretend. Where right after Thanksgiving 18, to clarify everything, I called Dave. I said, I've never hurt anyone. He's like, Karen, you're good to the kids, you're good to the grandkids. You would never hurt anyone. You're good to everyone, no matter who it is. I taped him, of course, and about Mel having the kids lying because of the divorce. And John defended me. We talked about it. Police taped him, too. They show up at Walmart 62. Why are they having all those kids make all that shit up? Well, they're just trying to scare her out of the house. That's it. We interviewed her whole family. They spoke highly of her. Okay? They're documenting me able to protect. I have Dixie taped with her permission of Flora telling a bunch of adults they were all lying and laughing about it. Police showed up. Melissa's so stupid. She made everything up when you were fishing with Dave. She's actually that stupid. She didn't check where you were. People in Louisville were talking about Melissa's lies. It should be in October of 21. I was in Huntington Bank, okay? Was with a client. They were talking about Melissa lying still. They said, we don't want Melissa to get any money out of this. That's okay. They knew they made everything up. They didn't want anybody to help her. I leave with my client. He's like, who is that crazy Melissa that everywhere we go they talk about her lying? I said, my ex-daughter-in-law had the kids make up some mean games to pretend in front of the police. He's like, she's crazy or nuts. I said, I know she is. He said, they're still talking about her lying. I said, she had to make it up on 18. He said, it's 21. They're still talking about her lying. In May of 21, before that, there was some guy named Kurt involved in this. I had went out of state, went through Pennsylvania. I went and stopped at a gas station to use the bathroom. Now, they sold the case online. Some girl looked at her phone and said, oh my goodness, Kurt found out all those kids were lying. He's going to kill her. They ran. Okay? A lot of cars headed back towards Ohio. I'm like, Kurt's slow. They said they were lying in 18. It's May of 21, he just found out he's slow. Well, I know the Stark County Sheriffs watch me. And I used to get upset. And I would go sit outside the police station and say stuff. And at times they'd yell stuff out or walk out and say something to me. I went and sat out there. I told him what happened in Pennsylvania. I said, if Kurt just found out they were lying, and they said they were lying in the basement on Thanksgiving of 18, it's 21. He's slow, right? Two sheriffs walk out, laugh, and scream out, if Kurt just found out all those kids were lying, he is slow. They were mocking him. He's the one that tells everybody to stay out of it. The sheriffs called him slow. In Louisville, in 21 and 22, they were talking about Melissa lying then and Melissa's lies. Last year, I was on a Sunday night in the fall. I was in Walmart on the Strip. One of the investigators were watching me. They're on the phone. Melissa told some guy they outpaid for the harassment. He'd get all his money back. He told me he could never get his money back. We found those kids lying a long time ago. He wants to think he'd pay for something like this. It's too bad he lost his money. I'll take care of him. Oh, I even had an investigator come up to me. I told her we caught those kids lying a long time ago. They better stop saying anything. Even those kids could end up in juvie. January 12th, 22. Walgreens, North Main. Men come in at the door. Officer Mark stops them. What did those kids get caught stating? They made everything up. Like I said, Officer John's little, but he's wiry. He stood up to two big guys. Hmm? It was July 4th of 21. Around that time, people in Canton, if those kids don't stop telling everybody they were making everything up, we're not going to help. Why are you helping an occult get away with murder? And they told all kinds of people they were lying. People in town were laughing. They even told us they were lying. I'm tired of fucking shit. In March or April of this year, where I turned in Michael Peterson in 21 about importing oil from Tracasami, Venezuela. Okay? They called down, and because he had sent me a letter of allegation, big wire transfers, got when he was going down there, where he was staying, the state that was buying smuggled oil. Okay? The investigators said they called down and checked on Michael Peterson's shipment. It wasn't legit. They reported it, and Tracasami got arrested for smuggling out from underneath its government. Like they said, what an accomplishment. One of their informants got them information leading to Tracasami's arrest. Well, there was a $10 million reward for that. Correct, like the agent gave it to that Michelle. That he's even stealing reward money. Like they said, when you realize how much he could have stolen, it's not even funny. And that girl screaming, he got me how much? They were talking in Beulah's, North Main and Akron. The girl that they say they're all stealing all the money for. And they talk about her there. She told people up in Akron that Will was stealing, her and Lauren, one of my client's neighbors, that they were stealing for them. And one of the neighbors eventually said, I told that Lauren I don't want her back up here. We're breaking everywhere. They are stealing for them. November 20th, 23, in Walmart 62 again. They said Will took a payoff. They stole my money. In January 19, in Walmart 62, they said he was so corrupt he would try to steal your money. January to March of 19, I'm in Belleville Village. There's a lady and a guy that was watching me. They said they were part of a domestic violence group. Okay? The lady turns around, she looks at me and says, she's amazing. I'd like her to speak when this is over. The guy turns around, he smiles at me. He said, she is amazing. He said, and I could write a bestseller on what happened here. A paid-off dirty agent. A man trying to kill his wife. And men being shot at running. It would be a bestseller. I'd call it Karen's Prayers. That's how I got the name of my videos. You had a Russian drug lord, an Iraqi fentanyl king, human traffickers from across the country, attacking Ohio and using my case as a scam, breaking their crimes under police surveillance with a court order for protected home custody for an FBI informant with threat of life with statements, and them all laughing in my face under police surveillance with a court order, breaking their crimes and who they work for. From the Gentleman's Club from Florida, to Henry Maffei, to the Kingsmen from Texas, Buffalo, New York, Michigan, North and South Carolina, Virginia, Maryland drug dealers, Georgia human traffickers, Florida human traffickers, California breaking what drugs they were bringing in this area, Tennessee and Kentucky, children and women disappearing and them breaking they were doing it. Like they said, her case is a nationwide human trafficking scam. And these people sold the login to the case. I went into Illinois in June or July of 21, and they were talking about the case, including those kids lying. It was on the internet, and it went across the country. I can go just about anywhere, and people will even say they're scaring around the house. They're scared as well, that FBI informant. I can go out of state. They sold it to children, teenagers, old ladies, truck drivers, people in nursing homes. It went viral.